Okay. Let's do a movement practice because what else is there to do? What else is there to do? But have a body and like live in it and stuff. I've been thinking a lot lately about, oh, by the way, you don't have to like look at the screen for this. I mean, you can. But you also, I don't want this to feel like you're coming to this practice and showing up all stiff and paying attention with a strictness. You don't like this is not the practice for that. My philosophy is that discipline and playfulness are not opposites, and that a lot of times I think people can get into this good little soldier, good little student mindset, and as they're learning physical things, and that can actually inhibit them, that they start to mirror the teacher and not be able to listen to their own bodies as much, or even just tightening the mind into a kind of focus that actually feels really tight and doesn't allow for freedom and doesn't allow for creativity and doesn't allow for instincts to be followed, because this idea of getting something right is something that some practices and disciplines, that's part of them. That's not what I do. I do what I do. So yeah, so if you're laying down, you can be laying down. If you're sitting down, you can be sitting down. The challenge actually is to just be okay with exactly where you are and not trying to be doing the idea of what you think you should be doing, because that's how we really listen to our bodies. And I'm leaning over like this. You see, I'm leaning over like this. And we're not going to talk about the idea of posture here, because the spine is actually meant to move. But wherever you are, whether you perceive yourself as being hunched or you perceive yourself as being, open or whatever it is, wherever you are, just take a second to like pause in where you are. And I've ended up sitting like this because I want to. Now wherever you are, just breathe into it. So start by exhaling. I always start by exhaling and then just waiting for the next breath to come in. And if you find yourself that you've put yourself somewhere that you're not comfortable, move and come to relative stillness, because we're never really still. There's always things moving. We need to allow them to move, either inside or outside. Your lungs are moving, your heart is moving, your blood is moving. But just be where you are. Find a spot to be where you are, where you can begin to bring awareness to the idea that the shape of your body has made, the idea from the inside. Not what it looks like from the outside, an idea from the inside. Let's start to build a map of what it feels like to just be where you are, whichever position you've chosen. And there can be a sense of relief if you feed in the idea of a sense of relief into your mind and say, I'm going to have an exhale that feels like relief. And wait for the inhale. It is a relief that the air comes back in. It is a relief that the air goes back out. Both the inhale and the exhale can have a sense of relief. There are so many types of inhales. Keep breathing. There are inhales of preparation. And sometimes inhales of preparation can give us that sharp feeling where everything kind of tenses up and it, goes into a fight or flight place where we're on edge. And this practice is not about being on edge. This practice is about being off the edge in places where it's safe enough to play. So maybe the position that you're in has changed. Mine has. I've gone deeper this way. Take a second to notice how it's changed since you've started. If there's discomfort, maybe another adjustment. Just feeling that sense of relief as you exhale. And feeling that sense of relief as you inhale. And now think about your head in relation to your body. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to make this beautiful. You don't have to make this sitting up straight. We're just thinking about our head in relation to our body, wherever you are. You are designed head to tail. So we're thinking a lot about the spine here and how we're designed. We don't need to move to make it straight or move to make it perfect. The spine is meant to move, is meant to have some shapes. Just inhale into anywhere that is giving you sensation. Maybe there's a sensation of opening somewhere, a sensation of pleasure somewhere. Maybe there's a sensation of discomfort that's not pain. You know, it's important to be able to tell the difference between pain that is going to hurt us and discomfort that can be a challenge but not an injury. The weird sound of my air conditioner has gone off. And now come out of whatever position that you've spent time in and come back to whatever you consider neutral. There is no true neutral because we're always moving and we're really asymmetrical. We're built asymmetrically. Our organs are arranged asymmetrically. Our faces are everything's asymmetrical. There's no neutral. There's only like your neutral. And your neutral changes moment to moment, right? And so just start to get a little sway going. I mean, you could even be laying down. I'll show you what it looks like laying down if, like, you're fucking depressed and you're in bed because, you know, you still gotta move a little. And if you do a little, it's not nothing. So I'm laying down. Like, just give yourself some movement. Maybe it's just the smallest thing on your hip. Maybe it's an arm. Like, just find a wiggly, loose rhythm wherever you are. I'm gonna like be on my side right here. Oops, I kicked a chair. Just find a wiggly, loose rhythm. And move. And again, bring it into that sense of relief. So exhale, however you're wiggling, however you're moving. Let the inhale be relief, let the exhale be relief. Find your rhythm. And in your little rhythm, turn on your senses a little bit. Bring your ears into the space. If you can listen to stuff around you, even if it's subtle. Listen to your own breath. I just have the hum of the fridge right now. It's important to be able to let the actual things going on in your environment be part of your meditation sometimes it's, I'm gonna keep wiggling this way. Just keep going with your own rhythm. Keep breathing into your own rhythm. Just notice sensations. If there's a spot that you are feeling, ooh, that's nice, you know, get into the repeat of that. Ooh, that's nice. Like, my shoulder wants to do this. Okay. Ooh, that's nice. And it can be small. It can be one hand. Whatever you can move to move. But yeah, this idea of bringing everything in your space into your meditation. There's a time and a place for going within in the most quiet place. You know, in the most quiet places. And trying to focus internally. But we're doing something here that's a little different, you know. Maybe we close our eyes for a second, maybe we open our eyes for a second, but I really want whatever senses you have available to you to be noticing the room as you move in your rhythm, non-committally. Non-commitment. You're moving how you want to move. Maybe it's a little playful, maybe it's slow, but you're still breathing. And it is a relief that the air comes in, and it is a relief that the air goes out. What sounds are you hearing? That's part of your movement, you know? Your space is part of your movement. What stuff are you seeing if you're choosing to leave your eyes open? If you're watching this on the screen, make sure to look away from the screen, because you are not two-dimensional. You are not a flat surface, and we're all looking at our phones and our faces in this way. I think we forget we're dimensional. So bring some dimensionality, taking in your body in space. What have you forgotten? Have you forgotten that you have side bodies? Have you forgotten that you have a back? I like to bring the hands to kind of trace the shapes of the body, trace the shapes of the neck, trace the shapes of the face. And keep having that sense of relief with every exhale, with every inhale. You can exhale through the mouth. You can make a sound. You are a body in space, right? Like, you're a body in space. I'm going to turn sideways just to remind ourselves that we have a side body. Okay, find yourself in some relative neutral, whatever that means for you. I think I'm going to have my legs out in front. So come to a stillness, let go of your wiggling or your exploration. Just let go of that sort of broad exploration for a moment. Maybe find a place where, whether you're laying down or sitting like me or standing, just find a place where you feel a little bit straighter of a spine. We're not doing posture. We're just doing a little bit straighter of a spine here so that we can feel the work we've done so far. And just inhale into that space of your spine. Think about your head in relation to your body, how you're arranged head to tail. You know, you might want to explore a sort of like hunching over. And if you're exploring a hunching over, think about your mid-back. Think about rounding your mid-back. So think less about rounding your shoulders and tucking your head, but find this idea of, it's almost like your solar plexus is the front, and the back is whatever matches that solar plexus. And can you round from that space a little bit? Wherever you are, just that idea of bringing the mid-spine in. Because I think when we do stuff with the spine, we're often working, our minds often frame the curve of the bottom of the spine, the natural curve of the bottom of the spine, to be flexible. Or when we're rounding, we tend to do it with our shoulders. But can we explore a little bit of the mid-back, maybe even doing the tiniest rounding, arching, rounding, and like laying down, it might be really tiny. Laying down, it might be just, you know, rounding, a little bit of arching, but think about the mid-back for a second, you know? Just exploring that. I mean, you could do it from any position, so I've ended up like this, and so I'm gonna find stability somewhere so that I can go rounding, arching, and it's small. The small things are the hardest to do in certain ways. Sometimes we want to be big and broad, but to be able to do it small and still feel the benefit, that's real. Make sure every exhale is huge relief. Every inhale is huge relief. Oh, isn't it a relief that the air comes in? Okay. Think about your head in relation to your body. Now, if you can remember that first position that you were in at the beginning, you have a conception in your mind and you have a memory. You have a memory of where you were sitting when we did the very first pose. Maybe you don't remember it really well, and that's okay. Because we're going to try to do an experiment with the mind. And so if you can remember back to the very beginning of this practice when I told you to stay where you were and to be where it was comfortable for you. If you can remember that, just place it in your mind. Just be in a comfortable position right now. Maybe close your eyes. Maybe try to ask your body where that was, ask your memory where that was. Do you remember it in your body, or are you searching for the memory in the mind? Either way, it's a conversation between the mind and the body. We can never be exactly in that shape ever again. The environment has changed, you've changed internally, everything is changing, everything's a conversation. Your mind is a conversation with your body's a conversation with your mind, your senses are a conversation with the space around you, your senses are a conversation with the sensations from your body. Like, there is all of this exchange. And I think that that's the beauty of a movement style of meditation, is that there's this exchange. And I think we lose that. I think we often lose that in certain practices that promise to make that connection. We lose that because we start trying to create shapes and do them right. This is not about doing something right. So if you can remember the shape you were at the beginning, and there's 2 levels of this. You can either choose level 1, get in the relative same shape as you were at the beginning, or level 2, try to do the opposite of that shape. So if my legs were if I'm remembering being here, which I think I was like this by the end, if I'm remembering being there, I'm gonna try to mirror it to the other side. So do a new version, like almost like a balancing version. So find it's not the same as it was the last time you did it, and it's not supposed to be the same, and it's not going to be the same. Anytime you repeat something, the circumstances within and the circumstances without have changed. And so when we repeat something, and when we repeat something in a physical practice, whatever physical practice we're learning, just assess present circumstances. Let's come to relative stillness in that place. When I say relative stillness, I say that because I like to have swaying within things. It makes the body feel safe, a little bit of wiggling. Like if I try to sit stock still in my idea of the last position I was in, that's not great. That's sort of like the mind kind of like powering the body, but I want to make the body and mind feel safe in conversation. So I'm wiggling a little bit in my approximation of my original pose. Yeah, so take a moment. Are you in your original pose? Are you in the mirror of that pose? You're not. You're in the general framework of that pose, and things have changed. Maybe this side of your body, if you're doing an opposite kind of thing, maybe this side of your body is like a whole different world. It is for me, for sure. Exhale. Wait for the inhale to come in. What a relief it is that the inhale comes in. Okay. And come to a relative stillness. I'm gonna close my eyes. You can do it. You can close your eyes. Or not. Think about your head in relation to your body, how you are arranged. Just think about it. You don't have to change anything. See if your body changes anything when you put in that idea. Think about your head in relation to your body. Does something feel like it changes on its own? Remember to breathe. Every inhale is a relief. The exhale is a relief. At your own pace of breathing. Notice sounds in the space. My air conditioner has just gone on again. Well, not on, it just does this thing where it buzzes when it's off. It's okay, every sound is fine. Every sound is fine. Every sound is part of it. Now come to whatever version of neutral you want. You can stay where you are if you're kind of going deeper into that position and you find some wigglingness and you find your head in relation to your body and you're having that conversation, getting that information. I'm gonna come to seated in my favorite seated position, which is this one. With my legs under me. So we're in our whatever. You could be folded over, God, whatever comfortable for you here. Keep breathing. But come to a relative neutral, because we will be ending the practice soon, but I want to kind of seal the practice while also a loose seal. We want to end a practice with this idea that we're bringing the principles into our day. So that's the idea of this practice that I do, that these things come from various movement systems. But, you know, this kind of stuff, it's a philosophy of movement that is meant to be brought with you in your other tasks, to create this conversation between the mind and the body. It doesn't just exist in like your workout or, you know, your yoga practice, whatever. You're supposed to bring it with you so that when I go to my table and I pick up my headphones, it's with me. It's the noticing. It's the noticing of the internal and external in conversation, the noticing of what my mind wants my body to do versus what my body will do. So come to whatever is like comfortable to end your practice in. And imagine this practice sort of leaking out on the rest of the way your day goes. Where do you have to move today? Where do you have to walk to the bathroom? Do you have to walk to the grocery store? Do you have to drive today? Do you have to take care of a child today? Start imagining what activities are involved in that. I'm gonna actually turn the air conditioner thing off because I want you to be able to hear things in your own space a lot better than if we were hearing the buzz. But so, you know, imperfection. We come to this stuff wanting imperfection. Like, we want the imperfection. We want the unevenness of sides. We want the conversation between mind and body to be dynamic, between body and space to be dynamic. We want to be able to respond with whichever tools we have available in a dynamic way. So what do you have to do for the rest of the day? It might be evening, so you might be wanting to go to sleep. It might be morning, so you have a lot to do for the rest of it. It is wherever you are. Keep breathing. Imagine one of the tasks you have to do today. I'm going to imagine just walking to the kitchen. Got to use my body to do that. I've gone to the kitchen 1,000 times. So my mind has this idea of what going to the kitchen means, but every moment is different. My internal circumstances of this body and this mind are different than every single time. And the nature of the kitchen has changed as well. Even if by the smallest bit, the nature of the kitchen is always changing. And so can I imagine myself going to this place, walking to this place, with real awareness of how my body converses with the space, of my feet hitting the ground, of how the clothing I've chosen has affected me, of how my eyes take in the kitchen, or whatever it is that you're doing. Because this is a practice that also needs to end on getting a little bit of energy back too. So we've restored the nervous system a little bit. We've kind of validated however our body wants to move. We've remembered that breath can be a relief. Breath can be a relief. And deciding that you want to start sighing and yawning could signal a lot of safety to the body. But I'm going to start touching my skin a little bit, tracing my skin again. I'm going to touch my face a little bit. I'm going to scratch my head a little bit. I'm just going to trace my body, maybe slapping it, waking up the skin so that I can feel myself in the space, so that I can utilize the organ of the skin to give me a sense of where I am. And just slap on the arm. Okay, there's no official way to end this. Just bring the principles into the next thing that you do, whether you're gonna go take a nap, which is great, or a shower, which is great, or you have a lot of work to do, which is great, or you're gonna go do a workout, which is great. This kind of conversation between the internal and external, the external and internal, this idea of what we respond to, and this idea of imperfection. Everything is always moving. Everything is always moving. Nothing hits a place of perfection. If there is perfection that exists, it is in the dance. It is in the back and forth. And so I hope that you can bring that to whatever the hell you do. Thank you. If you want to leave me a tip, I have a Ko-fi page, so I'm going to link that. No pressure. If you want astrology, I am an astrologer. I'll link that. No pressure. I don't want you to think about that shit. I want you to think about... I don't want you to think about, like, you know, a need to engage on the internet. You know, there can be resources on the internet that are just for you, that are not about the person making them. That's what I want to give, most of all. Okay. Peace out. Do I say peace out? I don't fucking know. Yeah, be safe out there. I want to make a lot of these practices, because I do these practices every day. I just want to let everyone in. You don't need a yoga mat. You don't fucking need leggings. You don't need money. You just need a spot where you can validate how you are and practice these principles, man. Like, that's it. I'm getting closer to the camera. Okay.